Therapy helped me out a lot. But when I started thinking about my whole 32-year career, I had been going through therapy my whole career after 1987 because I always had questions. I always wanted to talk to doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. We've always had those on some of the bigger ships, or we had access to them on a naval basis. So I was always asking questions about my personality disorder, about my personality, about my mom's personality, my dad, because I was always wondering what's going on with me. Why am I different? Why did I feel this way? So overtly speaking, don't give me too much too soon. Because what happens is if you give me too much too soon, I'm going to take you for granted. I'm not going to appreciate what you have to offer me. I'm not going to appreciate your time, your effort. I'm not going to appreciate you being a good-natured person. I'm not going to appreciate you being an empath. So with an overt person, I don't know about the coverts, the malignant, the other narcissistic people, communal, antagonistical, whatever. But just say me. You can't give me too much too soon and that often, because I'll take it for granted. I'll take you for granted. I'm not appreciative. And for a long time, I was never appreciative of the women that I have. I've always had good women in my life. I always had great women in my life. I was a bad guy to them. And so I turned them into somebody that they shouldn't have been, but should have been towards me, because I wasn't a good person. Wasn't a good boyfriend. I thought I was all that. Wasn't a good husband. I sucked in those roles. But I always thought I was the best person for them, but I wasn't. I starved many women. I starved them emotionally. I starved them spiritually. I starved them in a communicative type of role. I did for a very long time, because a lot of times they would give me too much too soon and I would lose interest in them. And so it was like I would fall flat. Boom. Once that I got what I wanted from those women, I had nothing to offer. It was like the sex, the laughter, the plan, the nice weekend wasn't for me, it's for them. It wasn't for them, for me, vice versa, all over the place. Then after I got used to them and after we had sex, whatever, I would feel empty, like nothing. And so that led me to being promiscuous. The science behind what I think is the overt narcissism, or narcissism period, is you get a child, a young man that's abused, neglected, right? Molested. Some of them are raped, forgotten about, sent to orphanages, sent to foster care, right? Beat up, bullied, ignored, told to go sit in the corner, slapped upside the head, told they weren't going to be anything, always struggled if they were small, little children, skinny, right? No confidence, low self-esteem. For me, all of those things, wetting the bed, fearful of my dad, right? Scared of girls. And then the science behind it is that I was like, oh, I got to become this different person. So I become this different person and I want all this attention. Because there was a long time where my sister was tougher than me. And my brothers used to tell me, stop crying, little punk, you little sissy, man up. And so what I do, I start lifting weights. I start exercising. And then I joined the military. So I man up. And I'm no longer this broken crybaby, wet in the bed, molested little kid. But in all actuality, I was still that kid. So the science is you become narcissistic people. For me, I became this person that I thought I was in the military, this strong, confident man that could communicate, that could talk, that could work out, that could get the women, that could have fun, that could box, that could fight, that could bully people, that could talk about people, that could put people down, that could hurt people, that could make people cry. So I become this person who really, I'm not this person. I'm actually this broken little kid, this shameful, bashful little kid that's hurting on the inside and used to cry and pee in the bed and wanted his mommy and was fearful of his dad, had to learn how to do things and take care of myself. That's who I really was. But I became this other person and it became hard to maintain that. But it felt good to be this mean, arrogant, cocky, self-centered, overbearing, over the top, promiscuous, exploitive type of experimental man. It became very fun to be that person. And then I forgot the little broken boy that once cared, that once loved his mom and dad and sister and brother, that once had that empathy. I was pushed. It was gone. So this guy now, this rough, tough Leon in the Navy, that's strong and getting promoted and getting awarded and rewarded and winning everything, that's who I loved. That's who I became. So I forgot about everybody else. And so I like the attention. I like the admiration, and I needed that to feed my ego. And that's who I've become for a long time. Becoming this person, becoming promiscuous wasn't hard after I learned who I was, but I forgot who I really was as like a little cool, nice, loving, caring little boy. Age 11, that was gone. And so Leon had to be this guy who I become, and I became comfortable with him, you know. So be careful. Don't give me too much too soon. I'm good now. Therapy helped me out. You know, I still have struggles, but you can't give a narcissistic person too much too soon, because they'll take you for granted and they'll forget about the important things. They'll forget about you. As women, and there's a good men out here that are empaths and just good, wholesome men, you have to be time released. Time released and giving yourself to a person, giving yourself a person your network, your net worth, your time, your love, your caring, right? Your permission, your communication. Just like when I take medicine, it's time release. I take it in a little bit through my body, it just makes me feel better. Whether it's Tylenol, whatever it is, you have to give your network, your net worth, your great qualities to a person a little bit at a time, as you can see if they take it on, it makes them feel better, makes them feel stronger. But mainly you give them a little bit at a time so you can see that they appreciate your love, they appreciate your empathy, they appreciate your medication. Because if you give too much too soon, you can't see if they appreciate it, and then they won't appreciate it. They'll take you for granted, right? And no, they won't respect your boundaries. Your boundaries become like a competition for them, see if they can break you down, right? So be time release, and that way, when you give a person too much of yourself, you can start to pull back and realize that they don't deserve what you have. And before long, you know, you realize that you didn't waste that much time with the being time release. So don't give a narcissistic person too much too soon in the beginning. Okay, I just want to put that on y'all to think about something. That's who I am. This is the science behind all this stuff. So let me know what y'all think. All right, you have a great day.